Okay, malungil kapsingay, tiya kita lokal basa tayo, naimit di kasal bunga ilon moklok. Past 6 o'clock, makadama start the program rigid. At celebration rigid, 20 years at Palau International Coral Reef. At yung center rigid other below. It belongs to us. It's ours. And this wakalo ay rigid ng atiyang, musay tiyang alive. Tiyang live ang ara channel 73 sa liga PNCC. And then live ang ara TMZ channel 38. And then live ang ara PWFM. So we're broadcasting it here 3 stations. It took 20 years, but there's a good reason why it's 3 live broadcasts at TV. Mas kumo ko mga tiyang, please mga messenger kami, get on YouTube. Mga text our friends and family both here and abroad. Please join in on channel 73 or channel 38. The channel 24. The celebration at 20th anniversary celebration at Palau International Coral Reef Center. Malwaises ang boolo ka siyang argit sa iba da kaldibla. Kada mertiang kada other si chel doruni tokoy sel activity makung ngitra Mr. Asap Bogurol mertiang biskida di kada bunglu girel tagidel sil sigida ada Coral Reef Center magukti tar program argit Mr. Boguro.
Madal muito mal grupo single beclad kada artial maral urtial mo ngoli ragal anniversary gid ending ngirel de kada besra se kada dios el bulu sel sum kada mrula toy ya dios a obanged mrula gel toy emblol mo ngil busul successful mo ngogi se gid botel lek la lulu lugora odang siak la dios tia adolong le al kap singe ka bodol lulu Edal de mabel ngarayang dagi teror madami mal di mereka sulem kamal masaura ablumam masaura rogul tokol ngal sablumam kamal masaura kelangan ramam klisi ela badangam agi artial arab singa edam el wagi mo ko mal wagi celebrate tial mo ngli ragra Coral Reef Center agi dire mal mereka sulem gira Coral Reef Center salomu ul merelang yang mol motmok laurol ngia klungela ablumam ma adira gal bulul at sa share information mbra baby na bulul at agi mal dimra siyem gi ang kapsngay mo bangkama marogu ye mo o protect rama balagi mgasakla yagi mga tial occasion mo ulabongol agi dira gal mal di o darsa igal urera Coral Reef gal mral merak sa embal mom lobong kamam mo kamam sa mamal ma osangam le korkaw agi mal dimra sulem lintay arogu nga Jesus Christus amen.
So, 20 years ago, Palau set a benchmark. We have not achieved 10 milestone yet. We're still on our benchmark. 20 years ago, there was a dream. There was some people that got together and said, why not? Palau is in the ideal location to establish a research center for marine life for the coastal. So, we're another 20 years and got to Lungila. Koktal do mesa ikan na umrega lu Irak. Letia center adi makasargi nga kaditela rakol. Mung akmlar segi de time o mesa ringi togoy agotta lo sa ringi ma mokta ringi e alut ka do mesa ada ngod blul ma orut ringi il tigel researchers. El al lu Irak 20 years later before even go another 20 years and beyond to achieve our milestone malungi koktal that take a step back and see the accomplishments of the other Coral Reef Center, the staff, my contributions. But at that time, one of the board saying, CEO, Dr. Yimlang Golbul, give welcoming remarks for this evening.
Sulang Joe, malungil kam singel mera bekla adal. Los vedel mokpang el algab singay celebrate the 20th anniversary of Coral Reef Center. This is the first time having our anniversary virtually. All white tagi del time and ngaring is close dinner, close fundraising event. Hindi tial rak tra coronavirus. Au ulm LRA kadamle sendia kabodo holder segi del clol el fundraising event. Hindi tiang 20th anniversary mang gira del celebrate. Magdadi celebrate virtually lo mantrira other bela rogul sabri lo mesergidra TV. Matigero rogul adal ngaray krel belau el sabri el join o mesergidra YouTube channel ra PNCC live. Mal masaular bekla adra tial mem da ali me celebrate ra 20th anniversary. El year theme ergid or sel tol dor obang al celebrate tial 20th anniversary at tiagi del wase the future of our ocean is in our hand. Leng selbebi le kadomda sel wase dia kangaral sa edel gut makli ngiril somebody else ngia sa el gut maklia adabel belau or tial belu. Ndi tial theme ergid agora reminder ergid el wase terstal ang aringi sa edel gut makli. Choices that we make, decisions we make rabikal sils, asab el mega difference, el mortial de bel belau. Masaygi del luldas lo ase. The future of our ocean is in our hand, adobang al celebrate. E direct el sel domestra last 20 years, en lebatoka ayel uriol milgat mok betok al adam lo kmage utmok ma earlier agim gor ure over 100 al ada sa edel wasetam lang artial go reef center amle urior amle intern amle researchers mlek magal el milngat mok artial el go reef center maigel urior go reef center amrun maldum sab edel ngartiang celebrate artial 20th anniversary. So a bebira program al kabsinge amo highlight tertigel bebira adal mle ngartiang ra kotulu ul emle sab el matmok maldum sab edel celebrate ra el 20th anniversary. Mo mal masulang arbek laad happy 20th anniversary the continue ra program ergi mal masulang.
Kamam sulang CEO Dr. Goldberg welcoming remarks. Tell theme actually the volume speaks for itself. Standing here reflecting on that theme reminds me about 20 years ago and what we've accomplished since then. We are taking ownership of our resources. We're trying to understanding our resources and how to better manage it. And 20 years ago, our theme was just about protecting, conserving. Now this is the element of taking ownership of our resources. Ma wala sa next program ergid egad mo message video message mlara atedel tangaklat el guktiot keorti alchils video messages from Dr. Patrick Talay, ma chairman el Noah Idong, of course His Excellency President Tablur Belao at Tamil Monsao. The way I introduce the video, I'd just like to say a few words about these three distinguished chairmen. Coral Reef Center. As you know, Palau International Coral Reef depends on partners, both locally. So Dr. Talay is also the president of the Palau Community College. So it's through their work and also enticing young Palauans to fall in love with the work of conservation and natural resources that are able to actually excel at PCC. And then from those students, they would come here to the Coral Reef Center. And they would from here continue their education and furthering their love and excitement for the conservation of our natural resources. At the same time, Dr. Patrick Talay was the first chairman of the board from 1999 to 2013. He was our first chairman of the Palau International Coral Reef Board. And then the next speaker, of course, the next video message will come from Chairman Noah Idong. Mr. Noah Idong has been long practices in the conservation field. When I started with this work, he was the chief of the marine resources, and then from there on, he went and co-founded Palau Conservation Society with several members of Palau's elite conservationist. And then from there, he actually became the first director of Palau Conservation Society. At that time, there was only 4 staff, full-time staff. And then he later on continued into public service, where he served in the House of Delegates representing the people of Ngiwan, the state of Ngiwan. And he also authored the PAN legislation, the Protected Areas Network, and served as the speaker of the OEK at the 8th OEK of the Palau Congress. And then lastly, it's His Excellency Tami Irmong South, President of the Republic of Palau. What can you say about our president? The man is known throughout the world as an icon for environmental championship. But there's one thing that I would like to share with us. Maybe we know this, maybe some of us don't. But during his tenure as the vice president, President Irmong South was actually the head of the Palau technical team and the negotiation team to bring the Palau International Coral Reef Center to Palau. At that time, there were 3 countries in the running to host the center. Back then, we just called it the center. There was Papua New Guinea, there was the Philippines, and there was Palau. So our president, our current president right now, he was the head of the delegation as well as the head of the technical team that went to put the proposal together and negotiated 20 years ago or 21 years ago. So those are the 3 gentlemen that contributed a lot to our work in the conservation, not only Palau as a whole, but in their efforts in ensuring that the Coral Reef Center actually meets its mandate and continues to meet the challenges, but also it continues to empower the youth of Palau to take ownership and the people of Palau ownership. So for now, we're going to play the videos of all 3 of them. Again, the speakers will be Dr. Patrick Talay, the first board member from 1999 to 2013, and also the president of Palau Community College. He'll be followed by Noah Idong, the current chairman of the board of the directors of Palau Conservation Society. And then we'll close that video message from His Excellency Tami Irmong South, the President of the Republic of Palau.
Kelara kralui telai malui matang yang melamului era kral mga asmrela Palau International Coral Reef Center. Mangwaise lui era kargit yan Palau International Coral Reef Center. Seludas wal no mga tmok kra PICRC au lumu urak me the lui me the ra ram namin. Sel time rak president ta kuni wana kamura en tilki al adal morior lo ventir adra siaval mar adram rigel el momelas araudas wal momaktuba. Kaya kita domes yang irelang atau mengkodong rengi bahasa Palau International Coral Reef Center. Mereka sulir ador olbira lula ulut tebriala, magat PI Palau International Coral Reef Center. Kaya kita la abiregal mitner eli. Palau Community College morulia program el alsil sekadong mengkodong rengi bahasa Marine and Environmental Science Program. Dahil lomsu, belangal kamomsu, girela tokoy ralugel, ma osab aklel alugel aklanga. Well alm alu era Palau International Coral Reef Center ekadam maldi mrenga saw mrenga sulit tirgel ulea buei mrenga sulir adra siaval ultob daudol magadrura center kadam mrenga sulir adra orior ul siaut marasing hatoba aldo ornia International Coral Reef Center kadam mrenga sulir adra olbira rula ul bekra ultob da yosang al mal ngasora center. Mereka sulit tirgero wil al sel Michael Belau el tira bekra toldar saudo del malmaseo tial sentergi mel along li era agar di mangle era doctor golbu mar adal luasia blur Belau a obum gamiu lol dub aureriu melu tel mobla garmiu lugut mok lagel gamiu agiriu mga mok lugut moklia bulwat matial maurigi bolungil tel blul adali mal musula rogui malungil tansiovi el mera Palau International Coral Reef Center.
malungil sils المرة هذا بلا الرقوي هرمريدل المالموترا أردي هذا الأولو نسألو تكير جد الرقوي إمرنا ساول يولدان السرقيد لوي رغرام لمبون يقدمون قد بي تيال دمودون ريل مو Palau International Coral Reef Center كيجي سيل لوريور المراي لورولتا ما مسوق تقورا داو تقورا مراندا ما بدل أي ما يول yang mailme yoldar sel mora kablemente gid mar adara blu mosab eda lungil lom garrewa igal ngarradao liang man moklaw kul gira lak lang hargid aurung uled amal mola malo matmok lam su gam alwol igal klang ngarradao marawil klangar dospe mosab eda dospe al sils em matmok gira igal rol maralme ra amadara makomte ra board ra tial sector mas CEO mas staff rogui emrenga saul e congratulate ra ergida other belau mas staff ergida rogui nel mosa edel malmol mer tial ror edelu malmol mergira aigal melu ira nel mormada
Ali, hello and Happy New Year to everyone watching here at home and abroad. Chairman Noah Idong and the members of the PICRC Board of Directors, PICRC CEO Dr. Imanang Kolbu, and all PICRC staff, on behalf of all the people of the Republic of Palau, I congratulate you on your 20th anniversary this year. PICRC has indeed come a long way since its inception 20 years ago. In some circumstances, 20 years may seem like a long time, but it seems like no time at all when you consider the work you have done for our region and for our global environment. Your research has contributed to state policies, our National Protected Areas Network, our Regional Micronesia Challenge, and of course, the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. These science-guided conservation commitments are what set Palau apart from other ocean states and what makes Palau a world leader in conservation. The work you do sets the agenda for our policymakers and helps ensure a safe, healthy, and a sustainable, productive, natural environment for future generations. This year, we celebrate PICRC's anniversary virtually, a change of plans due to the pandemic that is changing the way we work and interact. The COVID-19 pandemic has painfully revealed the vulnerability of small island states like Palau. In today's world, all states depend on international partnership, and this pandemic has disrupted the international cooperation critical to vulnerable health systems, fragile economies, and effective resource management. But as we look to rebuild and recover, there's good news. Ocean and environmental protection initiatives can drive economic recovery, which means building back bluer can mean building back better economically as well. This will further increase the importance of the work that you have been doing these past 20 years and of the research and data you will have to provide us into the future. I've said that we have been blessed during this pandemic to still have the abundance of natural resources to support us in our livelihoods and keep food on our tables. These blessings are made possible by the work that you have done and continue to do to protect our ocean and terrestrial environment. The Republic of Palau was preparing itself, as you know, to host the Our Ocean Conference in 2020. This pandemic forced us to push this important conference to this year, 2021. But the show must go on, and our work to build back bluer is ever more dependent on your work. from climate resilience to fish stock protection to reef health management, the nation, the region, and the world will depend on your work to keep the fight for a healthier planet going. Science has proven to be the greatest asset that will get us out of this pandemic. Science has proved to be our greatest asset for a healthier future for our planet and people. We must listen to and work with science. And so, as we celebrate your anniversary this year, the future of our ocean is indeed in our hands. And I congratulate you and thank you for continuing the commitment to guide us with your important work toward the future we need. Thank you very much, Kumpman Sulang, and congratulations.
strong and free. Sola eksyokar olgaril el bekukpel itakla ibong ma gibor district kama Tyson.
Salve Clan. Katanya terbitak terlain. Please, Roy de Momes, donate to PICRC and help support the cause. PICRC.org. Donate. Thank you. Serap may makita mo. Takmarangang idiota ka. ABC Sulang, please donate. PICRC.org. Sound.
Hali ko nito siya dumutong one more live and itak na mga dumutong mga video ning. Kung mesa ko na motigi mo ka kasi celebration. Wasa ko ni Olgorin, please donate to PICRC.org. Eh? All of our, both here in Palau and abroad, you can still donate. You can go online. Later I'll come with the details on how you can donate online to the PICRC Center. Kamamsula, Kiblas Kamalgari to liven up this celebration. And Lakadok more Segi the program. So next, Bodo Messing Garing said a Date Street, Costigang and Hawaii. A rumor has it, when the band first got together, actually several of the band members were working at one specific business, while others were in other business. But where the location of their business was actually called Date Street, and it should be very familiar to most of us that travel, because Date Street is actually when you go on Date Street, then you come to Pagoda Hotel and Ross outlets in Hawaii. So rumor has it that's how to compromise in trying to find a name of this band. They say, well, since we organize ourselves here on Date Street, so the bands will have it called Date Street. So we are very pleased and also very honored and very excited about not just us here, Palau, doing this joining this celebration, but our family and friends, our locals across the seas also joining in this presentation, in this celebration. But after the Date Street, then we're going to have a presentation to honor and recognize several former board members. And this will be, the honoring and recognition will be done by Minister Elbul Sada, as well as Minister Umi Sangabao. And I'm going to add a little bit twist to this, Doctor. Since we're celebrating 20 years, when both ministers come up here, besides just recognizing the past board members, I'd like to ask them each to answer one question. What is one thing of their fondest memory in the past 20 years of the Coral Reef Center? Ngrasel gora me sangal go amal mlongi lurior mul atserigan na umre galu Iraq atel togora Coral Reef Center makmuli tetigal minister sa selemel luguk skida adirigit tigel luguk mlomre gal adra board luguk sib idi skida 1 or 2 minutes dio ay simasing ngrasel gora mal mle go amal losmi anir tara urior git mukli resource center mo ulub tumlot magal gaing sel gut mukli Malwai say, Akmadioli telang na the Butal Mora video, and the street tigel ngalgether other Date Street from Hawaii, and Muskida one number give. Then, coming, Date Street and Momre Kakla Udayang, a cell or Longingira Date Street, a morning Segidile Education and Outreach Series, Seligara, Tasset Togora Palau National Marine Sanctuary. Momrega Segi, the Morsel community video, said the beginning, building Palawan signs. Tianga sel kukmur ngakaling ko unfair ako ato Mr. Minister say ngakakutiak mun mo na. Aktiyo ay sir kami. 25 years ago, I'd never imagined that there will be Palawans actually in the marine field in science. That's 25 years ago, 30 years ago when I started in this work in conservation. I remember my days in EQPB when the compact and the compact road, we heavily depended on external partners to come and help us. So my biggest celebration, jubilation for our 20 years anniversary is finally getting to see a dream that I never thought would happen in 20 years, is to see our young locals taking up that role and responsibility, their love for our natural resources in the marine. And so now they've taken ownership of that, and through that, it really reflects what the past video messages were about. We need science to guide us. We need science to make our country and economy healthy. And who better to give us a science than the locals that are based here in Palau. So without any further ado, akmolit sa already sa video at Date Street, and then kadukmo message sa video sa Palau National Marine Sanctuary, sa education and outreach, and the beginnings, and then akmolit to take out the ministers and Metiarbabe and the representation. And sel metigel adel Mnagele plakatin mo certificate. Ako li titigel rogul staff. Diya kami isa dakto ko rogul staff. Committee nga background ng mga siyasing gumilo titigel ni adra board. Okay, kumaram sulang, and please continue. Continue, enjoy your meal and enjoy your drinks too as well.
Ali Akmutal te ale Date Street Records marenga suli war other PICRC rate alel mas kama magi perform help celebrate tial mal to ubetsel 20th anniversary gamiw. Ko mal masal for all the hard work that you do etel elita klama aliyah. One of our first hit agi mo performer ngi. We're gonna mess it up a little bit, so we hope ikom ensure tel elita kle. Once again, lakadobes, the future of our oceans is in our hands. All right. Mahalo once again.
Hey there! Would you like some sashimi? Us Palauans, we love sashimi. As a small island nation, the ocean forms a big part of our culture. And just like our ancestors did before us, we need to protect our ocean to ensure that our children get to enjoy this delicious tuna in the future. Stay tuned to learn more about Palau and what our country is doing to ensure a healthy future for our ocean. My name is Coraline Emerald Reefs, and I am a marine biologist at the Palau International Coral Reef Center. Let's start with a basic but important question. Why should we protect the ocean? Well, did you know that the ocean is responsible for producing half the oxygen you breathe? Did you know that the ocean regulates the Earth's climate and weather patterns? Did you know that 3 billion people around the world rely on the ocean as a source of animal protein? At the same time, the ocean is vital for Palau, its culture, and traditions. In fact, did you know that most of Palau's territory is water? Yes! Palau's territory includes both land and water. This is Palau's land territory, covering a total area of 415.58 square kilometers. And this is Palau's water territory, called the Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ, covering an area of 593,432 square kilometers. That's over 1,000 times more water than land. With all of that water, you can only imagine the great marine biodiversity found in Palau. In its coastal and pelagic waters combined, Palau is home to more than 2,800 different species. However, scientists believe that there are many more to be discovered. By studying the health of our ocean, we will be able to take action against the many damages that humans have caused to the ocean, such as overfishing, pollution, and ocean acidification. Our goal is to attain sustainability. In other words, protecting our oceans to ensure that future generations have access to the same resources that we are able to enjoy today. With sustainability in mind, in 2015, the government of Palau established one of the largest marine protected areas, or MPA, in the world. Called the Palau National Marine Sanctuary, or PNMS, human activity is not allowed in 80% of Palau's EEZ. This means that it is prohibited for people to fish in this area, allowing marine life to recover. The remaining 20% of the EEZ is called the Domestic Fishing Zone, DFC, where fishing is allowed. PICRC does a lot of research in Palau's pelagic waters. One of our most recent and innovative research projects involves the study of yellowfin tuna and how these amazing hunters, whose body is perfectly streamlined for speed, move around Palau's territorial waters, including the PNMS. Weighing about 1,000 pounds and sold at $14 per pound in foreign markets, yellowfin tuna is one of the most prized fish in the ocean. PICRC is studying the swimming patterns of tuna within and outside of Palau to understand their behavior. By understanding how they use the EEZ, the government can take measures to make these fish more accessible to the local fishermen. In order to study the swimming patterns of tuna, our researchers need to catch the fish, place a tag on their body, and release them back into the ocean. The tags will then send signals that will allow us to track where they've been swimming. Our researchers use two different types of tags. One is called an acoustic tag, which requires a signal receiver to detect fish swimming nearby. The second type of tag is called a satellite tag. It stays on the fish for a year, after which it automatically detaches from the fish's body and sends information to the researchers via satellite. Let's talk about two ways in which these tags are used in research. The first is by studying the movement of juvenile tuna around Palau's FAD network. Fishing aggregating devices, or FADs, are buoys that act like magnets for pelagic fish. PICRC researchers first place a signal receiver on existing FADs throughout Palau, then catch juvenile tuna and perform a painless surgery on the fish by inserting an acoustic tag inside the tuna's body. After releasing the fish back into the ocean, the receiver on the FADs will be able to detect whether or not the fish are swimming nearby. This study is currently helping place FADs in strategic locations where tuna are likely to be found, making this fish more accessible to the local fishermen. The second way is by studying the migration patterns of adult tuna. Adult tuna, and I mean 100-pound tuna, are being caught by our researchers, and a satellite tag is being placed behind their dorsal fin. This procedure is helping researchers record the movement of tuna in the ocean, studying preferred depths and temperatures, allowing them to understand their behavior within Palawan waters. To conclude, the ocean is extremely important to ensure the survival of the human race. Understanding the behavior of different organisms found in Palau's EEZ will help us protect our marine biodiversity while at the same time benefiting from it. Palau's great natural richness comes with great responsibility. We need to protect it to ensure a future for our children. Thank you so much for being part of our anniversary, and be sure to support PICRC's research by sharing our work and talking about the importance of the PNMS. Remember, the future of our ocean is in our hands.
Anything as the perceived was mal titwokala dakas ito achieving PICRC has shown us it was of course a lot of factors come into play to make that a possibility, but the fact that it's here, it's successful, is a bright beacon for a future of Palau.
The Palau International Coral Reef Center rose out of a need for a research facility in the Pacific region to strengthen and support international coral reef research. With backing from the United States and Japan government, in 1998, Palau passed the Palau International Coral Reef Center Act, and construction on the center began. In 2001, the center opened its doors to the public. 20 years have passed since that time, and PICRC has made its mark on the international, regional, and local community. This is the story of how PICRC has been the catalyst to create a whole generation of scientific and conservation professionals, and how they in turn have used their skills for the betterment of the community in Palau.
Nga kapli ka sa puro nga ka-order Palau International Coral Reef Center nga sel aquarium department.
Nga ka Charlene Mersay, ak courier National Government National Environment Coordinator nga Eugela Ministry of Finance.
Okay, so my name is David Edith Jr. And I'm the Senior GIS Analyst at the Palau Automated Land and Resource Information System, which you probably don't know, but it's actually Polaris.
My name is Lucas Isaan. I work now as the Applied Scientist for the Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Tourism.
I'm Steven Victor, and I'm currently the Director of the Nature Conservancy Micronesia Program.
Start Lawyer Aquarium
Start Lawyer PICRC 2006.
Me and I guess Lolita Penland were the first researchers here at PICRC, so I started in 2000.
I started working at PICRC around 2008.
I started working at PICRC in February 2002.
Sila ko open blair for business, sila mamal aquarista. Melania training gimilay. Yemlo visitor wa ko wagi aquarium na Hawaii ma bibirap to ko aquarium nangarap na siya ban.
Ako na PICRC from 2006 and more 2008. During that period, I would say training at PICRC received the Mango component, and it was a lot. So, summer training at Shabala, help in terms of the ecological and biological training.
Actually, I guess one of the things when we were here, actually, PICRC was still new. We were still learning a lot of things. So, actually, a lot of the researchers that came here actually provided a lot of, I guess, in terms of capacity building for us, in terms of knowledge and stuff, like passing on things.
I lived and grew up and went to school here, but I didn't see Palau from the perspective of a scientist. And then of course there's the working part, which you learn to do science in a rigorous way. You get to work with very top-notch scientists around the world who are leading their fields. And I think that was the most impressive part of working for PICRC. You get to see where you grew up in a very different light.
So while being employed at Palau International Coral Reefs for 7 years, I got exposed to both research as well as managing team. So those are some of the capacity in terms of science and communicating science that really helped set my career into conservation.
As a national institution, national level institution, international support, but local communities supported me, especially when I was doing the MPA, involved our MPA work. We would go to the communities, also expectations, and then PICRC was working hard to make sure to provide the information as requested by the communities.
So the last thing, kialblay para the community, at makalurul, kakatkak prawdos sulgirela, umlisiel, malibang mamukat maklela, galtora, omoriyo marakarikera bulubelaw.
I also learned how to use research to communicate with communities, particularly in using science and data that we gathered from doing sediment studies affecting mangroves, seagrass, and coral reefs.
There were numerous initiatives that came out of the work at PICRC. So there was the creation of the Babadab Watershed Alliance. There was a lot more discussion locally about trying to contain sediment from going onto the reef.
A lot of people may not know is that we actually started this coral reef monitoring program. Me, Lolita, with Rob Van Mozik, we actually started this program with a few sites, and then I'm glad to see that's expanded, and it's been there for at least, 2020, so at least for the last 20 years. So that's something I'm kind of, I guess, proud of being part of.
1998, when I was working at PCS, the builder of PICRC, the location, staffing, organizational chart, and I'm sitting in the room and learning some part about Palauan researchers. And having majored in the sciences, biology, coming out of that major, limited with a science background. Today, it's like researchers on Arbelao is no longer the big issue. If I were to pick one significant impact that PICRC and Merbelao in the last 20 years, I would say that it presented hope, belief, and of course opportunities in Murangal Arbelao.
I'm really happy to see that the staffing at the Palau International Coral Reef Center is made of mainly Palauans, and I'd like to especially note that there are a lot of young women Palauans who are now researchers, who are now educators within PICRC, and who are now running programs within the Palau International Coral Reef Center.
I guess one of the biggest things I see about, I guess what PICRC has done in the last 20 years is, I remember when we first got here, we relied on a lot of these outside researchers to sort of, guide us and help us with information and provide information.
Ako kasi sa Lumutial Center, nungkurawable mitutat ko arwa survey sa conservation of Blue.
But what I see now is actually PICRC is providing that information and supporting outside researchers coming in. So a lot of it's like, so you see a lot of the students coming in. So actually that role has somewhat reversed.
So adrasin mlas bisi malibang move to ko mal makatakla at tele aurora to ko science. I would say for the past 10 years, the center am established itself around the scientific, what's the word I'm looking for? Scientific authority.
So I think PICRC has actually become that center of excellence that we've always talked about, like 20 years ago.
I think the most important impact that PICRC has had on Palau is the same impact that it's had on me, on a number of people, Palauan people. I think it's inspired passion for the reef and the ocean and the environment in general. In Palauans who grew up, were born here and grew up here, who sort of, if they didn't come across the work PICRC does, would take their home island for granted.
Making people understand and appreciate science more than what we've had in the past. We used to be afraid of science. Now I think it's much more mainstream into the education in terms of learning about the environment. It's being mainstream into policy development in terms of decision makers needing and able to access science information that they can understand. So I think that has been the greatest success that PICRC has contributed to Palau and the micronesia region.
So I think if I had to pick between the, what the work that we have done and the people, I would pick the people, because I think contribution to capacity building and learning for the different plants is one of our most important contributions. The idea that the Palauan people and Palauans can be researchers and can work at a place like the center and can contribute knowledge to the global science community just like any other people. I think in the beginning we didn't think that we were able to do that, and now we've shown time and time again that we can do that. So many people have come and worked at the center, and some have left and moved on, and they're still contributing to the different places that they're working at. We have former researchers here that now work for Congress. Some are working, heading different offices and agencies, and even heading regional programs like international NGOs. So I think if I had to pick one, while there are many things, I think the impact on people and knowledge and capacity building for Palauans, I think would be one of the most important things that I think the center has done in 20 years.
We have 20 more bright years in the future that's coming up. Like the words of the iconic comedian in the United States, Jerry Lewis, he would say when he would host this marathon, he would say, give until you cannot give no more. So please donate. Give until you can't give no more. And like the next part of the program, we recognize that they ex-official board members, that they outgoing board members. Tegil Center. Makmolingit Mr. Kayob Sakuma, Miss Alfonso Cosibar Bertiang, Edu say, with the present Tegil recognition more Tigil Terul Minister Ebul Sadang, Minister Umi Sangabao, Libertad Terun, say. And this is just another short little did you know fact about Minister Sadang is actually one of the longest serving board members. So if the center was one of his child, that means the center now should be up and going and kind of move on its own. But as a good parent, like the minister is, he always once in a while has to come back and make sure that the child is doing okay. So although they may no longer be board members, but we know that they'll be still part of the growth of our center. So Mr. Saguma and Ms. Alfonso, please come up. Ali, yeah, so once they present the certificate, I will need the local staff for our Coral Reef Center. Please come up for a group photo.
So I came here tonight with everything that I was going to say in my heart. But then CEO Yimanang said, remember, ka mga adult, ka madra ADB, ka adra PICRC, ka member of PICRC. So with that, I'm extremely honored and privileged. I'll talk on behalf or give some comments on behalf of Minister Sadang. As we all know, Minister Elbul Sadang has been the Minister of Finance for 16 years. Within those 16 years, I've worked with him for about 13 years. Of those 13 years, 8 years has been with Palau Coral Reef International Center as a board member. With my time with him, I've been privileged once again to see that his leadership inspires engagement and inclusiveness. His leadership and vast experience brings patience and foresight, and this has provided for a resilient economy. Within the Palau Coral Reef International Center, Minister Sadang has been integral in this building that we are sitting under tonight, the Tamira Mangsao Jr. building. He was extremely essential in the thought that went into this building, how this building could bring income to the center, to make it sustainable, and most important, to bring financial health, good financial health to the center. He has also helped with issues of finance in terms of financial stability, and has been very essential in helping our CEO in providing advice on how to move forward. And particularly in this time of COVID, when we face challenges, he, with his patience and his wisdom, has advised us on how to move forward with caution, but at the same time not compromising our ability to provide and to do what the center has been mandated to do by law. And of course, with the CEO and the Minister of Finance, we have been able to do that with his intellectual in finance and so forth and so on. If I would probably write a book if I were to talk about the value of Minister Elbul Sadang, and I won't go into that. But if there's anything I have learned from him, it's patience, always about the people. It's always about the people when it comes to the Minister of Finance. And even in the most harsh times, he would always say, Alfonso, calm down. It's all about the people. And that money is not about everything, which is very rare to get from a Minister of Finance. Very rare. When it, he sits you down and he says, it's all about the people. And with that, and I think the most important that I've learned from him is that he does it with humility and always with a smile. Thank you.
Malungil kapsangel morgumir rogoy. Good evening, everybody who are here in person. Thank you for coming, and good evening, everybody who's able to join us virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to me to be able to recognize this particular outgoing board member this evening, because not only has he been an amazing colleague and partner in environmental conservation, but he's also a former classmate of mine. from UH and a pretty good fisherman at that. And I'm lucky to be able to call him a friend as well. I'm not going to go into all of the accomplishments that Minister Humi Sangabao has done because, as you all know, it would take way too long tonight. But there are definitely a few notable achievements that I feel must be recognized. Minister Sangabao served as an ex-officio board member of the Board of Directors of PICRC from 2017 to 2021, and in that time, he played a key role in the passing of the legislation and the implementation of the Palau National Marine Sanctuary. He also led the collaboration of the Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Tourism and the Palau International Coral Reef Center and spearheaded the creation of the Protected Areas Network. Those two things are nothing to laugh at. Those are very significant achievements. And overall, he contributed greatly to the works of the center. Ladies and gentlemen, the minister has now been elected by the people of Palau to be a senator. And although as a board member, I for one am sad to see him go, I'm looking forward to working with Senator-elect Sangabao in his new role as a lawmaker, where I'm confident that he'll continue to support the center and environmental conservation for the people of Palau. Thank you.
Ma kolgita abot sa elme minister elbut sadang ma minister Sangabao vera stage ma tigel staff ma CEO malme mo present tigel recognition ma gift. Please our staff elme all the staff could please join the CEO here at the stage. And remember, I challenged him to at least tell us one meaningful impact that they've seen in the past 20 years of the center.
Kamal Saul, Malwil Kapsangel Korka, CEO, Ekutal Teale, Pagubtera, myself, Malguranga Suliu. Agulurenga se ulgumkom, relate away Tagil Mergamamra, Kotelgibom, member aboard them, Mo Plakaram Maml, Longasera, PICRC, Tiberegi Tobalanga Amas Ergim, the Tiaure del Becla, the Macpalorenga Suliu. Sera, Tida, the Will Madela sea. Sa domestic tel ula PICRC en Grulia Ministry of Finance ma emret el ex member Ma sila normally the ministers and di sila ko telkme kami madangela siya tami amle Vice President Minister of Finance mentil ka kal maul maklo board member tial muktegar tialla al miktabi PICRC ado danglil wase of course first tergia mangulwal environment tergid di sel mahal ngal teela ngarala aseng gire del mo self sustain yime makabandangli sel luul mloklo aklo debate after 5 years wase PICRC da girel self sustainability ringira role la financing magada mlokma loro lo mentira olbi le malmol loro gil merelang yakala madingala sekadam la survive segida mal le close challenge sergid emal mol mal challenge sergid at tayo del pandemic am la ruli mamal mamring la toru la fundraising dire kal mamring la adoru la request el mor olbira gulul inti saudo dan dia dangal tangat le son senator elect alabongeng ako tende kal gerel merio ending gerel dimral morba may say senator elect and the agel cook experience nga kal black kisa blur belal mla evolve kamama nga ka mil el ra blur ra old black pel ra blur oror seragi bel agi ngara kioba klibis kang ngara kerdi to dara madala al ole beri agi galangung ya magatme ela nga kakira madala al ol mal dia kal sabi kal mali agi gale mung segida sel challenge sergit kada makarang ay mawair ara dia kal sabi el tokoy kada bay to spe a science make sure and dia ka bolak agel dangay adu replace and baldiwa agel ulol ko sang bawal wasya ulma population bela mo kadmo ko sa arat adang girel terur ngalge dal ngari era adil girel ngari era sal mong akulgi tergi dal wasya polbutikar mudra balwa lakardi molgol wasyang bodya ka arangalge da bodya kal ensure agel ensure elang yes maral bodya kal civil enjoy ninguk bongot aklang artir tegi dal ngari elang mangar ale dal molwol e ol si sakrar ngalge da dia ka bol waikidra akuk sel temet lesel dola arangalge da elang setil akuk sel temiu yes en sel temet ndi lakadal autilo idel tira mo mangi autilo id et malmol mal gorgi del waisay mablur bela da sel gut maklil mo sel kurba bel sel kumal masawrat ya alle ka nga ka ba koroy aktibal bol mal dol nga sewr kumiu ya sumakti bosikal ku provide igel nga kasi kal provide al kuk tungura fundraising yang sige da sekal malmol malmo mo partner ngil malmol nga sewra PICRC mal masawrat ya te alle happy new year marpekla.
Welcome singe CEO mar staff PICRC. Kumartar oy. Oy. Kumal misar talte al akti mreed المصوي سبرسل مقتغنا قاول مقق موضوع القصص الشل غري لا تشون دي غوتي مرال مريغا سوللا president التيلت كاغا مقملو غرا قوك minister Segid Gukogib Segid Yakmlo member aboard, and it's been a rewarding time Lovangel aboard the Pala International Reef Center. Ding I know yung maral siya ngatang yung mas apto al gora mal meaningful impact at PICRC am naramula. And I'll say one, and ding ngaring sel maral ngaral sila mo gumarak masing mlamu ulmo I say, and din dirga kadasal masang. Matial amral kwase future is in our hands. Ako te siralomo la Palau Conservation Society. Yap to kalurior mlew tu regel guktim leklaw dengan shell time. Meng ta kadamiru legal lurior conservation and mlew tu sel guk klaw dengan other omnger. Maigel guktim le omsu shell time kwase med set aside the legal conservation areas. Hindi gadaw marang Dr. Golbul kasi gayom subiw awalilu talbali day tesmisi ay gayidel lurele damang selsuko mangarngi tirgel guk kukora motral kasi ndia katya kal waisegid Eng sabi edlo ba tukura sain sel dire kal guk diak. Tiagi om subul wa sel mar kwa se 2 + 2 = 4. Abe bira time kada blol di ngara riguts. Yang ako umarak masing gire talgibal yang alak karsel tukura riguts le bira time a osangeda mamral happen nakakarousel tukoy. Akmralo umarak masing segidal guk tukura sain sel nya to da Palau International Reef Center. Amla asmisi Aureled umarak masing malamon asmisi Aureled del mora ngarmada del time. Hindi akpay actually sige damle gire kalduli hindi serabek to ortiang yang ngarinya ako marang chow al kasing lamut al meaningful impact. A PICRC om grow our future leaders of Lurvelo. And I truly believe that akmaral ngartiang esel mo Mr. Tigel bel interview tir etamla maral gukmo raigel الدور أوريور ألشلا قبل من تلسيل جوك إمباكت دكتور قلبو يا أخو مناق ما سجد روغويا قدمير تيان يموتا ورا PICRC يجوك غني جل دبورني يا جل دبورني هو بندق دوم دسوك ما سه أتغيرا كوك بالاتيكسا أخو مناق ما سجد روغويا سبب إذا المبارت ربلا شيء ميجين أبلور بلاو ما يجيل experience سجد أدولا بالمو so don't ever rule that out. I for one أديم لا أخو مناق ما سeng ang akmot mo raw isil tal tokoy hindi ga bebi ratay meng ngarinya kamo reflecting la dire kal gor ogodong kwasing gidem mo magumanak masigel experience lo ngara alsel tiagi del guk temil ngara Palau International Reef Center si ilmo impact trigel guk leadership role sa kami o ngara community kami state kami or ko mora national government or ay gayidel makmalo manak mase abela amaral ngara ungil lugar ruila imala lubang ngaringi sa igid lugora kasi kada gora uroko dalengi ya ako manak masya PICRC amal klo relen el girel sa igid el future ablur belal malmol el girel ang algid amral me makomral masaura reriu amral molmol akore diak mlamo ang algya kamlo da sa el mutol masavior because of COVID andik mo ni kwasa ni annex lo me kamo intern of PICRC because I really feel kwaseng ngariya ko kala help pre yung komral masaura reriu. Thank you.
Dia begolita da mutum stira klor porta tegal terung el ex officio board members for tegal temila time on our board contribute to mera growth tegel the core reef center. Ila qad guk ma al mutum mesa gal video qad mutum mesa sele date street guk mum skida wana number 10 el video tir an klesen itakla armi then after mumre say we say qad guk mum mesa ngal tartigele collaborators Reef Center Adriga Lorior, they partner with not only locals but also with other universities and both abroad. Mr. Steve Pulumbi, got professor at Stanford. So he's going to be presenting some of the work that they've been doing with the Core Reef Center by video. You know, Minister Sangabauma, Core Center, actually it's a place that fosters and breeds and builds the passion of our young generations to become leaders. So one video about the capacity building, Persis Omelao, ma Fabio so internship experience Minister Sangabaum, you know, it's all baby steps. Start. Identify your passion, put them in the right space, the right time, and have the right people and mentor to build their passion and will carry on and move forward. I get about the mission video and then of course continue maybe a refreshment, so help yourself. We are on the video, I forgot to. Ngani muto na board member PICRC ng Tianga Mr. Wayne Andrews, Lokraba ng Imabil, Mugadore ng Asulim ng Elmel Wukjoy na Tiagidel. Right. And remember, cellular that time along, and then nagiguk muto me just to again, your support, and then we can tell you how you can support the Core Center through a virtual fundraising event. Mang sa igid lang makadumuto ma Date Street, and then sa numero kay gigid and then I'll come back and then morning say live band, but there will be a few words I will need to say before we go to the live band. So, Madoril Siga Date Street, Kumam Sula.
Next song called Me, another Date Street record hit way back in the days. Adi Somaman Siringi. Hope you enjoy the song. Let's go, Jake. Yeah. A small kind of freestyle. Let's not forget, everyone, the future of our oceans is in our hands. Mahalo.
Hi, I'm Steve Palumbi at Stanford University, and I work here at the Hopkins Marine Station in Monterey. But every once in a while, I get to work here in Palau. And what I want to do in the next few minutes is to tell you a little bit about the work we're doing with PICRC on heat-resistant corals all around the archipelago in Palau, how we're trying to use that to identify corals that might be best to be used in nurseries and restoration projects, and how that intersects with local communities all around Palau, and how it might be a tool for people to use in the future. So this is a view of our setup at PICRC in the back near the seawater system. Each of these is a coral reef stress tank that has chillers and heaters and lights. We will go out into the reefs using the boats at PICRC and the drivers and the really knowledgeable people that help us find the right reef environments, pull some fragments of those corals back, put them in these tanks, and then expose these different corals to a different set of environments. Now, we do it all at the same time in these tanks, then we can get a relative measure of how corals react to very standard conditions. And that's how we begin to ask, well, which corals are more sensitive to heat and which corals can survive ocean warming a little better. This is sort of some of the results that we tend to get. These are corals from one reef, that is the Luke's reefs on the eastern side, and this is a set of 5 corals or fragments from 5 different colonies. The top is when we've exposed those fragments to 30-degree temperatures, and the bottom is when we've taken those fragments of those same colonies and exposed them to 34 degrees for a few hours. That simulates a daytime low tide with the sun out, exposing these corals to high heat conditions. Now, this coral basically shows very little change when you expose it to 34 degrees. It's heat resistant to that degree, whereas heat sensitive. It has gone white. It's virtually lost all of its color. That means that it spit out the internal symbionts that give the coral flesh its color, and that provide the coral with a lot of the food that the coral has. So this is called a bleached coral, and bleached corals are what we often see when ocean warming happens all over the world and all over Palau. This would be an example of a relatively heat or bleaching resistant coral. This is a bleaching sensitive coral. So we've used this test at PICRC along with the staff there, including Victor Nestor, to look for heat resistant, bleaching resistant, and bleaching sensitive corals around the archipelago. So this is a view of where we've found heat resistant corals so far. Each of these red dots represents a heat we found on those reefs, and you can see 2 things from this. One is that they're pretty widespread. We find them almost everywhere where we look. But there are some places that have higher levels of these heat resistance, and that's one of the benefits of this broad mapping that we're able to do with the resources and boats and expertise at PICRC. For example, we can find this set of patch reefs in Amalik State that have a high degree of bleaching resistance. That's shown here. The same reefs that I showed in red dots are also shown there with their numbers. They've got colors around them that represent the different regions, and the same colors are here. Now, this red bar here represents the highest level of heat resistance that we've found anywhere around Palau. That's this set of reefs here on the western side. Now, if, for example, those particular, because they have a high degree of heat resistance, for example, protecting those from other harms might allow the protection of a larger set of heat-resistant corals than elsewhere. But we do find them in other places. Even the northern lagoon, which is relatively cooler, has a certain number of those heat-resistant corals. And there's some really intriguing offshore areas on the fore reef that have a high number of heat-resistant corals, higher than we would have thought. So there's still questions to be answered, and reefs to be explored. This gives us a pretty good map of where to go to find heat-resistant corals around Palau. But we've taken this and tried to ask what good would it do to the community to have this information, and that's where we began working with a wonderful community out in Kaingal. And this shows some of our first collaborative efforts to grow corals in our restoration framework out with Kaingal. It's in a program that we've called the Strong Corals Initiative, because the idea is not only to grow corals in nurseries and restore them, but also to pick and choose to grow corals that might be a little more suited to ocean warming conditions because of future climate change. Essentially, to take the information we had from the heat-resistant maps and then turn that into a more successful product for restoration efforts. So this is Megan Morikawa, one of the grad students who was in my lab, and great folks up at Kaingal, in our first attempt to look at those heat-resistant corals. And it's the first attempt to start a restoration type of project. This shows us some of the initial restoration efforts that we did. It turns out that these cement blocks that we made to put corals on were great for putting corals on. Works so well in the Kaingal Lagoon. So we have to shift the technology for that. Rebar and cable ties works really well for that. And what we're trying to do then is to essentially allow the community of Kaingal and others around Palau, if they so choose, to basically be the masters of this technology, do that in their own backyards. Just wanted to basically show you my sort of view of PICRC is the bright light that it is, not only in Palau for the incredible staff it has, the dedication to science, the resources, the ability to do experiments and discover new things, but also the bright light that it has around the entire Pacific. It's one of the best places to go to do coral reef research almost anywhere. Researchers around the world flock to PICRC to be able to use its resources there and to collaborate with the scientists there to discover new things. We've used the seawater system, we've used the molecular lab, we've used the freezers, we've used the storerooms, we've taken advantage of the incredible staff and the knowledge that's there in order to advance the work that we've been doing. But we've also found that the best kind of work is the collaborative work, where we have common goals, where we try to say, here's how we can add to what it is that Palau knows about its own reefs and how those reefs affect and help the people all over Palau. So, you know, it's such a gorgeously beautiful place, and it's such a thrill to be there. It also allows us to feel like we're giving back to the community in a way that essentially takes the science that we're able to do and turns it into a product, turns it into something that is valuable not only to the scientific community but for folks all around Palau. So I just want to say thanks to PICRC, congratulations for your 20th anniversary. We're thrilled to be able to work there and work with you, and really want to make sure that what we're doing there in Palau is as exciting and useful to you as it possibly can be. So thanks and congratulations.
When the founders of the Palau International Coral Reef Center conceived of a self-sustaining marine research center, their vision was long. Recognizing the need for Palauan staff to take the lead in creating the PICRC Act, they included the role of Palau community. When the founders of the Palau International Coral Reef Center conceived of a self-sustaining marine research center, their vision was long. Recognizing the need for Palawan staff to take the reins in the future, when creating the PICRC Act, they included the role of Palau Community College to recruit and train future scientists. Thus, the Environmental and Marine Science program was born. Since its inception, PICRC has worked in partnership with PCC, training young students to prepare them for a career in science, environmental conservation, and natural resource management. Soon, PICRC expanded to take on interns from high schools in Palau and even college students from international institutions. Today, a diverse group of current and former students from schools in Palau to countries such as Australia, the United States, Germany, France, and Japan can claim the title of former intern at the Palau International Coral Reef Center. As the original law intended, PICRC has helped students become the professional staff Palau needs to carry on work in the environmental field. This is their story.
Ang persist din po o melaw ang fisheries specialist tra Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Tourism.
Nga Fabio Siksay, fisheries specialist sa Bureau of Marine Resources.
So nga mo 3 internships nga kalawin ka PICRC. Ayan man le tool para maklok silu bari nga ayan le internship para nga para PCC.
So nga actually before pwede nga pala high school yung mga nigel again mentoring program. So gaya dam let welcome ni first time nga kalma PICRC actually may para ulor so batrita la ulor. And then mora pala community college no major environmental marine science makmlera aknamrura field study nga ma internship nga PICRC.
Ako lurir lamanggala locos isal niyam le researcher at PICRC del time.
Yam le mentor nga kasi del time sino nga ngatang kalening kan rem. Niyam le na researcher.
Yak le orior mrula analyze sa deirara igale reefs le ngerong ma ngedara before and after effects tra typhoon Bopha.
And so sige drak me tira wal rutan mo ma survey lo sang wanga nagal sa population nagal si cucumbers. I was right after semle ngani tlolomrul waram room petpatinga na si cucumbers. And so mnos ko participate sa study.
Igimiru seagrass monitoring ra MPA manan MPA sites ra abato kay balu ababiringi amle ng SR balilyo mayray maorior. And then still number 2 internship para nga kakulurir lawin kalalo kus again himle analyze data ra fishermen's landing ra local fish market tarbelaw emle soma man mom ngali size composition ma distribution rangir ra coastal fisheries tarbelaw.
Sige dro experience nga say ma internship nga dal ora among drill survey yako sige dak para Palau Conservation Society aknan mo ron outreach officer and man mo fisheries coordinator. So gigidal kung asa mo kuma sa gigidal they are very experienced nga sige time like still at time ng malhelp nga and so gigidal information na knowledge sa book bel sabiral mal sige ra pa PICRC na dire kan help nga sa gibora blue gimong ra blue gim try develop a management plan sa team.
Again, like super PICRC mostly research. Elatal lurela or elanga more into management. And then akmal normal asura sa kadamal ospe close research baka decision making ra ko tokora management ra fisheries.
Ay the internship nga tal PICRC Ako na sabi ko rahil prangal rare selo say marong lu tegala baromeda say. Like if kada mongil manage ospe egal resources in a sustainable way, yung sabi dal tegala baromeda tiram ospe egal resources benefit from it, they will benefit from it into the future.
So egal temer el plakara PICRC egal kuksilu ra hands-on research ra field el altame mal musuga kara rela kal mo understand lo sangara mal klolu tut ngara ul mo mal klolu tutelel dos pe a research el backup ra ko management los pe a data el backup pa decisions that we make ra ko management side.
Direct kasi magro ra magi multura data ma reports ra PICRC so ayadum le experience nga direct several help from us okay yagid magagid information if I need makanak nga kasi kala PICRC that would help inform ra wera.
Ako umara sa PICRC ako temla osura bela in terms of research. Isal ko to swakal ringit part research ra other bela wa maruri ra other bela wa musubri ra other bela wa ulis akra other balu wal gira like research. Umra sa PICRC malmol mal influencer magkakaroon ng mga kalbay ka mamal mo musubri gira la tabel bela ma environmental bela.
Serak nga PICRC bok mereka timur ta ka kutum le prodal wasak le partra PICRC and I am where I'm at because of PICRC.
PICRC awul malwaram no samaryal continue ra school ngarawa fisheries ma environment and conservation.
Looking back, I think it's a single about the clone impact Rela la PICRC, I think yung sige din investment rangal korbelaw il mo sobri rangal igal lurior.
Happy 20th anniversary PICRC kumram sulang igal kuktenin le help build the capacity rangal shape me to be the person that I am today. Thank you.
Mo aska Mr. Leira Coral Center el Bertiang e dio asigi say how can we donate el Mera Coral Center from there goduk mo gel next program ergidel e mo tag the man umrek se bedel es como so min loge please by all means the dance floor is open di bom dam kita camera mangara ma el tema gulitum se dorar se slide show me olgril bskid sel background music. Alanga, Mr. Olgri, before we do the slideshow, alam ko kanya swal mo logoy mo.
So lang at Joe. I have to say this before I sing the next song. I just want to say that throughout the years, I myself and my family have been donating to PICRC. And I'm very proud that we have our name on that wall. It's a great wall. It's a big wall. We're going to build it. But I love the wall. The Dr. Golbu, I know I've said this before, but before I sing this next song, last year we went, the 19th anniversary, we said the reef and beyond, and that means open ocean research. So I'd like to ask Mr. Golbu here publicly, live, on radio, television, YouTube, that bring the open ocean research to Angkor. It's the best way to do it. And I just want to say that I donate to PICRC because I have kids. They love it here. This is where we come to see family and fish. You have a great team. You have a great aquarium. In Maralungila Gift Shop, everything there is collectible, really. You don't get anything like that. But I thank you. The research is important, but when you come here and the kids get to learn about the reef ecology, the mangrove ecology, all the different fish that we fry, it's awesome. So I thank you. I hope everything, I know it's COVID stuff, economy, but this is important. And on the 20th anniversary, let's just push harder. And kung other beral o mesutya orang sutyang, PICRC.org, donate. If Korea men, tang private sector abdur belau, this is the time to really give to something that really benefits the community. And one of those things is PICRC. So allotment, anything, do it. It's worth it. We're all better for it today, and we're all better with it for the future. So the next song goes out to my proposal, Open Ocean Research, Rangayaw, Makulngitra, Ivan, Malhitringir, Itakli. Usube sa shade, when I wear sunglasses, you become invisible. Enjoy the slideshow. Kung lalo masara ogos, melood niyak na bagalin, aimon masil gigril baluwe, narabal ngelangwa, para lalula maklodobin, almebura pula alaba, lobaw mil etela, dims nga bardel, malabolte mga laklarin. Ati sel alaon raiway, sel and sokal nga ngayon, lo aklur sa parebon. Ati sen sansaro, ang selo mga rabong, yung uring ngertiyan, ikalil ngayaw rin, maralbat ikigararang Lagam sangayang alilak, Abtu akmal dumil maur, Role damalong sradi ela buile, Lo makray rabi, O milile dakmal dimit, Eldang ako rame mangasa, Le obong ome gamo kurusi, Lord alak ramakan, Ati sel alaon raiway, sel and sokal nga ngayon, lo aklur sa parebon. Ati sen sansaro, ang selo mga rabu, yung uring ngertiyan, Digaril na yauril, Garal bati galarmu. Ati sel alaon raiway, sel and sokal nga ngayon, lo aklur sa parebon. Ati sen sansaro, ang selo mga rabong, yung uring ngertiyan, Digaril ngayaw rin, Garal bati galarmu. O pililitak maldiwin, Elyak ako rame mangasa, Le omong ome mo kurusi, Lord alak ramakan, Lagam sangayang alilak, Abtu akmal dumil maur, Role damalong sradi ela buile, Lo
Jurure ngatya Tigarin ngayaw rin Maralbat tigararmu Yeke Jurure ngatya Tigarin ngayaw rin Maralbat tigararmu Kamsulang
Kamam Sulang, a fellow endowment member of the endowment fund of PICRC. O sige na direct Mam Sulang Olgaril. Elang aktimol kita mis telay Albertiang. El loay sige na Milo Messer. Matcher bela Michael bela, how can you donate? El mera PICRC online direct el moay smiseling. Tiang ada kali el alchil sa celebration of the anniversary. Ngari el an mo whole week ngari a celebration. Mangkagi dele Mr. Leng kangkele outreach and communication coordinator or specialist at PICRC kami ay sige din say so maklugugan mo ng araw sabi ko expect and then dili kasi ako to club gula we still need your help although COVID ang ara pandemic but we can still give long sa tigi de lurior tel fine institution gidra Palau International Coral Reef Mr. Leng abi mo ay sa adam say how can you donate online mga activities in week.
Kamal masulang yetcho, malungin kapsingil merigid rogoy, gidang artiang maradorem sa ikrel maalsel belaw. So we're very happy to be here virtually and in person. When talking about the future, we are here virtually. So no matter where you are in the world, we invite you, if you have the ability, to support us and the work that we do for our center. So I'll let you guys know, and you can do it along with me if you have your computer with you. You can open our webpage, www.picrc.org, and right at the very top, you will see a button that says donate. So if you have the ability, even $1 helps. Please do click that button. It's a pretty simple process. There are instructions on the page. As long as you have a credit or debit card, you too can help support the Palau International Coral Reef Center. And not just donating, you can also join us as we celebrate the rest of this week. We're happy to be here January 18th, the date 20 years ago of the opening of our center. But because we're able to celebrate virtually, we have extended our celebration for the rest of this week. So we will be premiering more video content the rest of this week up until Friday, January 22nd. And there is more to be seen that will not be shown tonight. So I invite everybody to follow, like, and subscribe on our social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, and also on our local television channels, Palau National Communications Corporation, Channel 24. Palau Wave TV. So thank you everybody listening today. If you have the ability, just that $1 you too can help support the Palau International Coral Reef Center to continue our work so that we can continue to take the future of our oceans in our hands. Kopmal masulang.
Maram sulang Mr. Le, and just another fun fact information. Ngal Olgaril tele performance singing sa itak. The original composer, songwriter. And just to make it clear that malkom hamle makatektal rulil itak leding. Magsige da walo ruspe ringi so. Kadora nga sulala Olgari luguk mo sa mski the sel. Cook version how it should be sung. And ga kadora nga sulala Olgari. Elang seguida kaduk malyo tangak meda again last video. Kadumut sel boda missing sel Date Street Records. Tumutu mski da wana itak teddy bear. Diligal mara community video, the future, building with our tools. Selol sera education and outreach, internship experience with Masasinge Hideos. Sel mo lubong video po daw meseringi wal ko mo mregatel programmer git. Mutul last number lumomskida Date Street. El video actual sele itakla tele toktangara heart. Seguida volmski seguida last, and then gadmor sel closing, and then it's going to be live entertainment. Tadi mo 9:30, and then call it night. So, lang aktion item sa meda bora sige the program na again. First video bodo mesengi Date Street Records tumom skila Teddy Bear. Sil next video bodo mesengi a video the future building with our tools. More education outreach, internship experience masasingi hideos, and then more sa labong video dire Date Street del Toktang Heart.
Let's not forget, everybody, the future of our oceans is in our hands. All right, let's go, Jake. Woo! Hello, everybody. All right. Yeah, buddy.
everybody. Woo! Vale, oh, eh. All right, mahalo everybody.
The life of a scientist, nothing ever really goes right the first 3 times. Because it's a lot of hard work, but it's a lot of fun, and especially in conservation, especially if we're able to do it here in Palau, it's really great to see the work that we get to do.
For all the focus and support the Palau International Coral Reef Center has seen in the past 20 years, Palau has witnessed returns on its investment in science by the community for the community. A new generation of scientific and conservation professionals and technical experts have grown from the time they spent at the center. Locals have been able to transfer the skills they learned onto everyday Palauans working in the field as the number of people working in the conservation sector in Palau increases. This is the story of how Palau's local scientists and conservation professionals have been able to work with internationally ranked institutions, absorb those skills, and pass knowledge onto their communities to empower them to take control of their resources and take the future of the ocean into their own hands.
Will Tutao, Roswell, Prokopsangay. My name is Evelyn Igalao Otto.
My name is Lindsay Marino.
My name is Victor Nestor. My name is Maki Michael Mareb.
And I am currently a researcher.
A researcher at the Palau International
Aquarium Center.
I'm a senior aquarist at the Palau Aquarium. So as a PICRC staff, we've attended a number of trainings, capacity building. Working in the aquarium has given me the opportunity to receive training on coral identification. I was also given the opportunity to participate and witness coral spawning and how to identify when a coral is going to spawn. I've received my rescue dive certification through PICRC.
Trainings we've received as a PICRC staff is coral identification, coral taxonomy,
Identifying corals and fish, invertebrates.
data analysis,
on how to measure the water qualities in Palau.
computer statistics program like R.
Microplastics.
MPA management.
And ocean acidification.
Socioeconomic data and data collection.
And we received these trainings from professors and researchers from other research institutes.
Organizations that I've personally worked with through the center is Monaco Institute,
Micronesia Challenge,
the Rick University,
NOAA,
the PICRC staff,
and University of Hawaii,
JICA,
Korea Institute of Ocean Technology,
from the University of Queensland.
One of the great things about the center is that whoever leaves to get training, both locally and internationally, we try and bring that back and train everybody at the center to be able to do the same kind of work in the same capacity.
Internally, within the research department itself, we also continue to learn when we're in the field, when we're doing field work.
Yeah, one is with Asap Puguro. He helped us with how to conduct visual census survey for fish, also how to conduct the survey underwater.
I received training on how to identify corals with Dr. Douglas Finner, and in return, I sharpened my skills by teaching other aquarists, new aquarists, how to identify corals by its basic characteristic features. I have trained about
for a chorist, and how to identify the basic characteristics, features of a choral.
So besides our internal trainings that we do with the staff here at the center, we also like to bring out these trainings and give back to the community and include them in the work that we're doing.
For the past couple of years, one of our mandates as researchers is that we get to train our PAN rangers and conservation officers, which we've done a couple of times.
So we were able to teach them the methods that we use here at the center and what we are specifically looking for so that they can go and continue to monitor their marine protected areas, otherwise MPAs, and on a more regular basis. The rangers were great students and fully committed to the cause.
Partawera magira monitor ay protected areas sa Malgayok. Milay training course ra PCC, the conducting the PICRC di kara ecological monitoring. Agi milsu bal survey ra MPA kay dile tao sa mga detele lang maragil para science sa domes conceptual the beda for kung ilan na improve meet the requirements as a conservation area. Mlang waso kuma mamudo subi ngar madalim kyal conservation area ra dabela madalam malamayo. Egi mlang waso kuma mal lospe amara ngildongu mangaragi mo si gangira al kyal conservation area kamam.
But by providing this training to the rangers and the conservation officers, they're able to do this on a quarterly basis or biannually basis, whichever serves their needs to get the experience or get the data. And then we're always providing assistance, so if ever they get data and they need help to interpret it, they can always send it to us to help with that.
And then we also work with the Coral State Rangers, and Luz conducted us training for the rangers and how to survey coral reefs, and I was able to be with them and show them how to do the survey at the snorkeling sites.
Nga may to training sa Lakmalo Manggela center gid. Nga kadiak tiklet ranger or aktiran na ranger ngaralong girelsel Northern Reef Management Program. First mlagot training amle ecological monitoring ra to ang survey avail.
Ang initial training block mo ra PICRC lo sabi no yakam punya kal kilala corals kora activity rangi gitu invert sama togol penengela tora habitats kaka more understanding of the species yang raun kal protect them.
So mablo pati ganing mal helpful part ra center mera ada kadil tora rangers or tora dabra blur below. Especially kamam look specific ang alam mga tao mas kamam mate alam mo understand tora klangarangi ilma ecological life ra tao
mal masera adra blur below.
So it's a very helpful project lolomol masenter lolong share rangers ma arogula dra conservation ma blue belal leng sei kadamo selbo ngari aklam dengan gidil gidela oguru le langal claro dong romri morin ser ngudul lopil mora next level e musobe del borrombeli mosier ngi longira arngal gedel mrani.
PICRC has provided so many people with amazing opportunities to learn and grow and build their capacity in conservation.
I never thought that I'd be able to get my master's degree, or just at the rate that I go. The center really pushed me to do that.
I was able to teach a PCC course in an introduction to marine science. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't receive further education while I was here at PICRC.
For the next 20 years, I just really want to see it continue. Like, I really want to see more Palauans being interested in conservation and doing their part in it.
I hope it continues to educate Palau to have a better understanding of our ocean and seek ways to conserve and better manage our resources in the future.
The future of our oceans is in our hands.
ngari kiblas mo ngari edri ngari tigel staff fra College Center el direga part del group ngari achoy ma uli el achoy ngere research assistant ra College Center uli oriora ra administration etiriga qadi mara roid maqsi halaq bitiril may ma hospital tamal practice maseda borse live entertainment album program ngana mo biot manna mo garua itakal todo ma el tamak pa golitra Joel Bertiang alinga staff assistant researcher Bertiang abskida wa number me uli abskida wa number mragad moragel closing
Segal dak live. Sama di kararbay. Kamu makadir ko practice.
Sulanga Joy, Sakro Prot, Atigal staff. Ela kontira uli le bertiang al kuskida wana namberga uli oriora sel administration officer center. Uli ngararbai le bertiang kuskida wana namber. Blessed regalo akul blessed lo isim sel itakli ol garil sel original songwriter mara akil sel itakla ke garen ngau. Silang akil segidele itaklu. Mga tangat na maala ko nito na uli na may. Dili ka just for our mil nga lomes at tiyan nga belaw, mga ikert belaw. Olgari lang na tiyan nga wearable do say. Dili ka siya tara amalungil. So da kayong sewri, siya gito endowment fund na PICRC. Wa olgari siya kot na establish sa endowment fund. Nga kami start mularingin may ilang mo. Tara, audio sa medalo messaging. And good thing about endowment fund, setam rula pa bilingem. Sel endra yera kukma, get sel ludo the kuk mutile gorgamo. As kumo sa tinga di kam lorira government or any business mal ubang ngtswam and sem emel mera endowment fund. Ali de ilia uli kuk coordinating ima organist tergi de kuk ski de number. Ngdo mesri mandire ka tsku mangaria tara time ko menge dakta golbunding ngamo sugal kuk mo ngod ileng. Aseguma sa tiyan nga kakmama luob si tiyan nga ramong. Masaguma sa tiyak siya kadangari tigel bebira oria center na motelara. Ava memra. Researchers come and go. But most wakal ko ramo kera aguma sa arius ang artiyan, if you don't mind. Ma Gary. As kumoni na time. Where the close and swakal di maskat di quick di mereda di bskida. Ako ti obsoden misay nino ngara ulta kamalmam lang artiyan. Lorio roy. Etikadekal wa siya etikele. The people behind the scene. Oy. Our researcher may mangarang litirgagi tigel. Well, top da earth tirgai da ma khot secure ek ma ke klaro lospe. Where abam tura center tiga make sure facilities amram. Qadqadio mes tirgale mla master setir ma internship din gira der ko mes tirgale ko people behind the scenes that makes researchers magidang artiyan actually look good as well achieve sel goal gidmo. Electi monita tim toka daso tilgib wala close up program ko aska Gary me ma arius aluktis maybe 2-3 minutes aluktis kida sel lukka a view tirgire la urior 20 years tiga kumbramo se arius ngirang at 20 years Gary ngirang a little bit under 20 years but they've been here the longest mong seguido maldi mong igluak mo seguido le part of program like one thing that akname sara seguido program 20 years we mentioned it, but it kind of in passing. But one of the things that the Reef Center in 20 years, not only build our capacity, but we're helping the building capacity of our friends in Micronesia. Other Reef, our researchers, our local researchers, other travel colleagues around in Micronesia. And then help them establish and do research, but also empower them and show them give the other Micronesias se edang ariga lorior. So tigal lorior tiang but they're also ambassadors. And mora not only Micronesia, Michael Bebira blew throughout the Pacific. And then of course we saw a collaboration with for the Stanford University. So it's a win-win situation. They bring the research here, so they win and we win. I got researchers say when they come here, it's not free. Tiga hara tiga tertir, tiga hara igal air, tiga degal mikir igal dorms mangarang. So in a way, Reef Center degal help economy in part to say sustainable ecotourism or conservation tourism. Like we're bringing people here from all over the world. So that's another fundraising, but also Hindi kal helper tir mukado mesa video that ngaringal kasiaba France Europe. So in itself they become ambassadors for the Korean Center. Mas kuma siya ila kung itara ulil bertiang kukuskita one number and then kadmo finish ay last video and then osmina program lagi. Nutum saklol, proton mauli ma choy. Kamram sulang ila kadumuragen last tool video presentation or give sel education and outreach series internship sel experience la masasinga hideos more sel lubong el video music bobski da Date Street Records sel toktang la heart di momre kerse aktimo litra Arius malum Gary Libertang di husese wera close up program gide makagunite de bora girga Date Street amina kad more se gidele oi Cell Education Outreach Series.
Idila kal Malaya water sample, el kiran sa kidal ko kanang partoy project nga kan sa water alkalinity ra blue belaw. Yeah, so we did it.
The Palau International Coral Reef Center is a marine research institute committed to education. From internships to summer camps and school programs, over the past 20 years, PICRC has established a presence among Palau's youth, hoping to inspire the next generation of environmentally aware citizens. Through these programs, PICRC aims to build the capacity of students, giving them the tools to pursue careers in environmental science.
Ang kaya masasingit talaga videos yung nga 23 gig they're nag-graduate sa University of Hawaii Hilo labang Bachelors of Arts nga kara Geography concentration on Environmental Studies. My favorite marine animal would be I guess Masigiu. Nga former intern na PICRC, ako intern for 2 summers, summer 2018, summer 2019. Eta club sa so kalmuto malami ang schooler. Ra kuk to ko ra natural resource management, maluming to ko ra disaster risk management. Emutel mervelaw, emoriolo bangkalagal matokal alat, elmur to ko ra conservation. First internship nga project nga sa heat tolerance ra coral. Gaya del provide sa ka ko ra wal species ra mamal ki bobes talgi. Alwasing sabi elo to ra ka dalila ta bundiak. Mentor nga Mr. Victor Nestor one researcher at PICRC. And gaya gid ya ko ulungon ra ang Marcel project nga during that 6 weeks of internship. So the project nga kasi summer 2019, yakop nga ta Eligalorio Vengela, Miss Evelyn Igalaw Otto, el digital researcher PICRC, dila kal Malaya water sample, el kiran sa kidal ko kanang partoy project nga kan sa water alkalinity ra blue belaw. Yeah, so we did it. Agam lang ang experience nga lang kala PICRC amal mleungi. So during ang internship ko ma'am, takal mentor nga kami help per nga kal executive project nga. Nga ta alam mal mara field work tira ko ra wal ambar ka ma'am ra kay gid field work ka ma'am. Ang ngero ng tamam la ang master ka ma'am benus apa bilangam. So that internship ako ta kadil focus like research. Dili kala just akay gid amral tala laurior. Magiblam sub la bata, may blam sub al mongol mentor sa kamam, ngidel other office, mga tao supervisors sa kamam, at mga lawyer overcome may kukura obstacles sa kamam mamlo go through. Dal internship amal lang suharap to toy, dakadilo la legal internship, madire kal kukura la to na school kalwal ko ra ulsi ar mo maklin men me school mo ulmong na sa beral mo school ra environmental studies. Kukto ko our research methods, may kikita kukto ko field. Public appreciate, taling kuk ikikita ko pwede nato ko yung dakat sa atin sobra school, rapi kalsis, ang gina dal to dara school, kuk more lang bantirer atin mo, ikikita lawyer, so malim naklaw teal, nga kamar lungil lang ko lang daring at teal, kuk nos lawyer lang bantirer, kikita atin, imrut our Kadang school embrus ababier makatasay ta electric agi dalat. Esal bring at tala dro loban tri ang malmo ngilarang mo talang kadawal ko raf like kadamo feel part of something will contribute to our society to give. La kuk to ra conservation na preservation or environment rablo belaw ra kaya mo ra ako. So, baby ako na challenges of like face during internship. Time management. Till internship, I'm 6 weeks, so we have to do everything on time. So, that was a challenge for me. Dili ka lang nga baby na time yung maringi ako na error. Like I said, trial and error. But I did not let that discourage me from completing my project. Maringi at time yung formula mo spe or computer kami wako na maringi at talaga wala at ito ka laringi. And koramo ko sa kadalatan, milgiri loaded lot of the result kami, but with the help of my mentors, yagi mo sa baba ma'am, lot of the result ma'am, in time for our presentation, and mula CEO, Mustafa PICRC, ma-sponsor sa ma'am, Blue Bay Petroleum. One challenge I've like faced during that internship, I really didn't know much about corals, to be honest. With them, one species, dimla Paris selengica, the ginuluan may and then nagibay ble ospe engil ko ra wal ko ra control subject kaya ma'am kaya the challenges ang mentor nga katiri ko ra ng dator ma'am senta ka about discouraged by those little things, but instead we find ways to learn from our mistakes. Always know that there's always room for error, and then this is a place of learning, so da ko marura so mo plan may intern na PICRC. Al suko makumda swami intern na PICRC, maluming swami may intern na PICRC, please them apply. Malungil teal to si sa akra ng ligid, rato ko raw riyor, you never know. At taka mo matingra ko ra swami to ko maluringi, and it might be because of that internship. May alarag, engi ama manglayo alarag, apikul o yung labon tirar other belaw, mablul other rogi. Magmalswa ka din mo ora kasuli, raw ngilu reliw, labon tirar other abalu, mar other abalul other rogi. And most of all, mas kamamate alam may intern, labon tirar, rekan na mamila alarag. Diri kalmalswa ka mong tatean, di ora kasula la mentor nga Victor Nestor, mentor nga ikalaw oto. Nabili nga lawyer labangge, kamamla sa bakal complete tayo project tarangak. Kaya nga mamalik experience ng alupang kala PICRC intern. Hindi na kaso ka give a special shoutout kay Mark Trigel, kung na intern lupang Iwang, Miang Aldil, Jackie, Katie, Mereng, Tristan, and Ayang Leah. Kumarm so lang ang experience, and I hope to work with you guys again someday. Dili na kaso ka nungutat teal, or nga sila Blue Bay Petroleum. Ang sponsor ka ma'am, regan na mamrek internship ka ma'am, labang ka ng PICRC, Komsulang, a happy 20th anniversary. The future of our ocean is in our hands.
Aloha, everyone. Once again, on behalf of Teach Street Records, myself, Kasol, my brother Gord, para take on the keys, we want to thank PICRC for inviting us to perform and help celebrate this very, very special 20th anniversary. Our next song is Tok Tara Heart, written by Para Gord. We're going to dedicate this song to all the hardworking people at PICRC. Thank you for all the hard work you do. Let's not forget, the future of our oceans is in our hands. Mahalo.
They Street Records 2020. Here we go.
Silmorega daranga ke baby. Mira cantilar muge. Mama mular nga anes. Puta gamazaga tonga klagaraya. Tok tangarahan amo wise. Ngagaleka diktara batigaramu. Ako malagay yom deba ularingi. Balaray darangage mom ritla badangi. Tok tangarahan kamo wise. Ngagaleka diktara batigaramu. Ako malagay di alap tangataringi. Lendi mo'y krageks meraramu. Kabarugay ilekaradusan. Di el calbu il sellora giru. Kawanle kaulabang ale. Mawadaring alarabatange. Tok tangarahan kamo wais. Ngagaleka diktara patigararangu. Ako malagad yom deba ularangi. Balaray darangage mom ritalabadangi. Tok tangarahan kamo wais. Ngagaleka diktara patigararangu. Ako malagad di alap tangatarangi. Lendi mo'y krageks merarangu.
Gord, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go, buddy.
My love for you will never die, my baby girl. You're like a doctor, only you can fix my heart. My love is so real, love is divine. Baby girl, you blow my mind. Every day, every night, I think about you all the time. Au mga galiterong alngararum, mawawalaw it on fire. Hello, señorita, ilak me coming over. You look good, feel good, and you so loud, you're waking up the neighbor.
Tok tangarahan kamo wais. Ngagaleka diktara batigararangu. Ako maalagad yom beba ularingi. Balarang idangage mom ritalabadangi. Tok tangarahan kamo wais. Ngagaleka diktara batigararangu. Ako maalagad di alap tangatarangi. Lendi mo'y krageks merarangu. Kabarugay ilekaradusan. Di el calbu il sellora giru. Kawanle kaulabang ale. Awadaring alarabatange. Tok tangarahan kamo wais. Ngagaleka diktara batigararangu. Ako maalagad yom beba ularangi. Lendi mo'y krageks merarangu.
One more time.
Tok tangarahan kamo wais. Ngagaleka diktara batigararangu. Ako maalagad di alap tangatarangi. Lendi mo'y krageks merarangu. Alright. Mahalo, everyone. Mahalo. Let's not forget, the future of our oceans is in our hands. Alright, let's go. Mahalo, everyone. let's not forget, the future of our oceans is in our hands. Alright, let's go. Mahalo everyone.
Okay, kalau malu orang asulit tinggal di Date Street record sa mga sibil volunteer tayo long sa orgid tale fundraising orgid Madrid celebration at 20th anniversary. Elakad ma arsele lebong program orgid mo subes Gary namra la bok chaka arius tiagi di kitayang di ulasil sumungkora sel omor golera da kasal malungin mong gunitum sel el berema next year Dire ka CEO na confirm naman nga kamo sa next year closing niya mo biskila tara asol sa CEO yung manang mo next year mga tara ka losubol mo asol sa mala ka mo arsele closing program ligid ma konti na kulitra a board member Wayne Andrew Bertiang ospulia program ligid ela ka mo bes tel celebration ligid at Sunday. For more information sa website ta PICRC. Find out naman sa klugok mo ingara programa bolo top.tv madili kan kani sa library tir. I mean, please visit sa website tir. There's a lot of good information, interesting information. Dire kam sa siguro spelling ko adas por lo mesmo sa ngarira at sa Core Reef Center makuntila board member when Andrew Bertiang ski sa closing remark. After that, and then it's party.
Malmasaw la MC. Kadmarmara ulbong le ngutyalti ale kumte board chairman ergidra board mar Bekel board members ektu sesel tol di orang asal. Magote CEO akum dasung malproper ngutyalti ale orang asule la ibdul maraklay marugul belau. Tira oil hoster tel event kadab oil orang asulir tira mal sebedal wasir the foundation tel relela center kadab oil lomeser tira guiding light tira orang asulir ibdul ma ibira klay mar silbela rogoy mutal tel tira kal mal orang asulir adro ibira lulau president ra senate ma speaker house Tira dire kal oil hoster tel event mal klisiel aurel tel center. Center dodang lil rogo il breklad wase gida orelo tira governors ra igal 16 states. Tira kal mutel te alle oren asulir governors gida rogoi. Tira oil guider gida igal bekl questions maurungulir atora omsubela lugela klangar. Orang asulir governors. Tira kal ngutyal te alle orang asulir bekel kombalir al sel belau, micro belau, bekel donors, sponsors, bekel other belau la donate, malub tomdas wal mo donate el mertial center. Kurang asulir lom tera board mar staff tial blay orang asulir rogoi. Tira kal ngutyal te alle soal orang asulir So kaloreng asulela kabelmentra Bluram Rigel Masyabal kidam lame sa igel film ra history tel blay el tira mle Partersel Foundation ra maktabel tel blay ul ngarang dor tel Coral Reef Center kabelmentra Bluram Rigel Masyabal tira kal dodnger beklada sa lidra Taiwan mal bloil jol ngsiorgid modoleng sulir. Tira kal ngutyal te ale last but not the least I know presidenta ngay amle dreamer tial blay. Ng swakal di ngutyal te ale orang asulel then dimlakal di Brussels. Actually he put his weight behind the dream that he had 20 years ago. And ma reality continue to support this center. I know maamreka term ngira president he's going to be a fisherman, but he's going to be a very good fisherman for the center, CEO. Tonight we'll celebrate orang asulela Minister Umay sangabaw ma elbul sadang al tira kal momreka termer tir ngara board ra center kum ter kamal adra board ma CEO orenga sulit trigal terul rubak. I know all good work and fun and enjoyment comes to an end, and we begin a new journey. Kamal orenga sulela Minister Sangbao ma Minister Sadang Altira. Sebagal wase, they guided this center during the years that we're together as board members with a community heart. Tabloil Jomta Surar Adra Blue. And as we can see the result of that, their public service shows that. Mreng Asulela, Minister Sangbao, I know he's gonna be in the OEK, so that's a plus for us, plus for the center. Tiragal ngutial tiale maloreng asulela beklad kamil ngatiang kamil loreng sertial program will enjoy celebrate tial kasus tial silsra Palau International Coral Reef Center the 20th anniversary kureng asuliw especially kamil ngara ikrel belau lomese oreng sertial program. Either elalgab singay malabong klugug or throughout the week. Klutel reminder wase tianga maldirga beginning ra year, beginning at tial fundraiser Coral Reef Center. We are thankful ra trigel bekel na donate tel Mira Center elalrak, as RCO have said. Because of the pandemic, we couldn't have regular get-together. So we're doing this with this practicing social distancing. But it doesn't mean we also social distance our wallets. That can also support the center into the future. So tonight, let me say that with a generous donation of all the supporters, the raise $23,640. Let's give a big round of applause to Trigel Mladonate Telmera Center for this year. And then, maulabong le klutel ngutial tial le kurenga sulela brother nga Joe Aitaro. Hey, give him a big round of applause, our MC. Tirigal entertainers sergi derel kapsingay Kiblas ma brother nga Raol Date Street Records. Give them a big round of applause. And last but not the least, doreng asulela Simbros ra baragi derel kapsingay direl ngutial tial kuisir kami rogoy erbeklada Happy New Year. Malmal practice social distancing. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Malwaise seguida